Hello everybody, I'm Evan Chemico and this is The Toss-Up. Each week join myself and an expert line panel dissect the latest sports news from some of the nation's most elite college programs here in Bloomington to the biggest stadiums and stages around the world. Stick around because we have a great show coming up on The Toss-Up. Mask fell off halfway through the monologue, damn it. It's an up-and-coming program with veteran leaders, lots of new faces, and one of the most exciting and fun coaches in Bloomington. This week, we are talking all about Steve Aird's Hoosier Volleyball program. So far this season, the team, led by Brianna Edwards, Brooke Westbeld, and Haley Armstrong, has started out 6-6 with wins over Butler, Bowling Green, and Alabama A&M, as well as losses to Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and number 21 Georgia Tech. With Big Ten play beginning on this week, the Hoosiers start at home against Michigan State on the 24th and a looming matchup with Purdue on Sunday. Coming up later in the show, Ethan Masel joins us in studio for a senior spotlight. But here now to break down the team and get you ready for conference play is IUSTV Sports Volleyball beat reporter Josh Bode and Brianna Ballog. Josh, Brianna, thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Josh, I want to start with you. How have the Hoosiers fared so far in their invitational schedule? What has it looked up to this point?
It's been a little shaky, a little bit of a roller coaster. They beat most of the teams that they should have beaten. The non-Power 5 programs, they dropped a couple though, and they've fared all right against the Power 5 programs. They've played well, just haven't been able to get wins out of those games.
Mm-hmm. Brianna, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not where Coach Arid wants to be right now, but it's not too bad. And a lot of the matches they've had have been like 5 sets, which is like kind of uncommon to like go into like 4 or 5 set games, and they just can't really finish those, and I think that's something they definitely need to work on. Yeah,
and it seems to be the season, it's such an up and down, 6-6 with, you have some good wins and some bad losses. I mean, Chicago State is a very questionable loss if you're a Power 5 program. But what have been the team's greatest strengths so far this season?
Yeah, I think definitely with all like these new faces, they've done an extremely well job out on the court. I know Paula Sarame, she's definitely done great in the back row, and coming from Florida and libero, and then I also think Maddie Saris has totally, being a freshman, like totally stepped up.
Mm-hmm. I think their depth has been great so far. They're a team with a lot of new faces, a lot of transfers, a lot of freshmen, and they have some experience on their team as well, and it's been able to be mixed pretty well so far. It's been pretty smooth, except for a couple games where they haven't played great, but I'd say that the depth and the switchability of the lineup has been a good thing to start the season.
Right. So we talked about the good stuff. Let's get into some of the stuff that not many people at home would like to hear. Josh, what areas of improvement does the team need to make before Big Ten play?
I think just consistency and being able to win those close matches and those 5-set matches. They've been in a lot of matches and that they've lost, or a lot of sets that they've lost by maybe 2-3 points. If they can make a big play, get on that late run, and win that set, it would set up great for the rest of the match, and they would probably be sitting here with 7 to 9 wins instead of 6 wins.
Yeah, I agree, and I just think it's the little things like missing a serve on game point, and like, trying to like if they get a block and then no one's there to recover it, or like the block comes off, like just like little things like that. And I know like Coach Aaron mentioned they had 14 missed serves in like one game, and that's just like a lot, and that kills you because those are just easy points you can get.
Right, and last season especially, it seemed to be the easy things that kept kind of, they kept messing up at times, and they weren't as sound as they really needed to be. Because let's be real, the Big Ten it's really tough.
Definitely.
So Brianna, being that Big Ten play is starting, what are some of the biggest challenges coming up for Indiana this season?
Well, they have they're playing against 5 different like top 25 teams. I mean, Purdue's like ranked number 7. They play them on Sunday, and it's going to be tough. And then I think that they need to kind of like get there mentally and prepare for those games, because it's definitely not going to be easy. And missing a serve or like shanking a pass and stuff like that, need to correct those things, and I think that'll totally help them more.
Josh?
Yeah, like Brianna said, obviously the Big Ten is really good. They're really deep too. They have 5, I think, top 12 teams. They have another one in the top 25 and another one receiving votes. So that's 7 teams that are in the mix to be top 25 teams in the country. And they're also deep as well. The teams that aren't in the top 25 are pretty solid teams. So they're going to have really tough competition in the Big Ten. So if they're able to pick off a couple of those teams, especially the 5 in the top 12, you can see a lot of improvement for this team.
Right, so you have a lot of good matchups coming up against quality teams. Josh, what game are you most looking forward to?
I think it's the Purdue game on Sunday. Purdue's ranked number 7, and Indiana, Coach Steve Aird has said it's not really a rivalry right now. Purdue's, they're looking to win a national championship. Coach Aird says they're looking to build a program. And Purdue has really dominated this rivalry recently. I think the last time IU won was 2012. Purdue's won 17 straight. But under Steve Aird, IU has played well against them. So we'll see how IU fares against Purdue on Sunday against the best team that they've faced so far this year.
Awesome, Brianna?
Yeah, I agree. Probably Purdue, just because, he's like Coach Aird said it's not a rivalry, but I mean, I think it is in a way, just because obviously it's Purdue, and I think that'll be a really good game, and I think IU could, keep it close, and hopefully maybe it could be a 5-set match or something. But I also am looking forward to like Ohio State or Wisconsin, because they're also really good.
Yeah, mine that was kind of circled. What I was looking for was the Wisconsin game, but I'll let you kind of finish your point that you were making earlier.
Yeah, because I think they're ranked number 2 right now, and I hope they get like a really good upset. I think that would just be awesome. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to that game too.
Yeah, like I said, that Wisconsin game is circled on mine, being that when I was growing up, I was a Wisconsin fan, so you always kind of circle the teams that you grow up watching.
Right.
I think my last question for now, for at least for Josh, is a tough question because not many people are willing to ask it because he's such a great guy. So Josh, I'll start with you. If this season does go wrong and there isn't much improvement, is Steve Aird's job in trouble?
I think absolutely not. The team seems to love him. We talked to Brianna Edwards and Kaylee Ramelsberg a couple of weeks ago for media availability, and they both had high praise for Coach Aird. And they've been injured a little bit this season. They've been missing 2 starters for the last couple of weeks, so they need to get healthy. And then they've been getting better. They've close sets, close matches. They just need to finish them out. So I think they're still trending in the right direction.
No, I agree. I don't really think he'd be in trouble. I mean, when he came here, it was so many new faces, and he's just rebuilding it. And I think once it gets past like the next year or two, that he's going to have a really solid team, because he's wanting to work with them and improve them and just get them all like working as a team. And I think they are. They seem like, when we talked to Brianna Edwards, she was saying how on the bus rides, like they all like laugh and listen to music, and like they're all like bonding really close as a team, even like all the freshmen and like the new transfers.
Yeah, and it's always such a tough question when you ask, oh, is somebody really on the hot seat? And with a guy like Steve Aird, who's so loved by the team, I talked to Haley Armstrong in February, and she raved about him. Everybody on this team, and our last year, Justin Berger raved 24/7 about Steve Aird, because he's such a good guy and such a fun personality to have on, as a coach. But it's always that tough question. It's year 4. There hasn't been a ton of turnaround in the program. There's been moments. I would say there's been moments, but there hasn't been, too much of those results yet.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Like we've said, though, there's tons of opportunities because the Big Ten's loaded. And I think it was 2019 they won a game against ranked Kentucky, who went on to win the national championship last year. So there's definitely been some improvement throughout his time here.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if they get in those 5-set matches and they can come on top of that, that'll totally help them. And I don't know. I love Coach Aird too. I think he's just a really good guy, and the team loves him too.
Well, Josh, Brianna, stick around. Coming up after the break, Ethan Masel joins us in studio for Senior Spotlight. Then we are making some quick fire predictions. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now joining us on the toss-up for some IU Women's Volleyball Senior Spotlight is Ethan Masel. Ethan, over to you.
Thanks, Evan. The IU Women's Volleyball team got off to a hot start this year, winning 5 of their first 6 games before dropping 5 of their latest 6 over the past 2 weeks. The Hoosiers are looking to bounce back on Friday versus Michigan State in the Indiana Invitational with seniors Brianna Edwards, Kari Zumach, and grad student Brooke Westbeld. This trio has been powering the Hoosiers all season long, with Edwards second in kills, Westbeld dominating in assists, and Zumach racking up the blocks. This season so far, Kari Zumach has earned all tournament team honors at the Top Dog Challenge, and Brianna Edwards was welcomed into the 1,000 Kills Club. Make sure to support your Hoosiers Friday night at home against Michigan State. Evan, back to you.
Thanks, Ethan. We are back with Josh, Bode, and Brianna Ballog, and it is time to make some quick-fire season predictions. Josh, Brianna, we're back. Are you guys ready to make your predictions?
Yes.
Definitely.
All right, so Josh, we'll start with you. Who so far, this is less of a prediction, is your season MVP to this date?
I think it's Kaylee Ramelsberg so far. She was transfer coming in, and she's performed great. She's top 3 in kills, top 3 in blocks, and she's been injured. She missed a couple games last weekend, but they're looking to get healthier, and I think that if she continues to play well, she could definitely be in the mix for the end of the season MVP as well.
Brianna?
I'm going to go with Brianna Edwards just because she's leading in kills and, senior, the leadership role and everything, but she got her 1,000 kill at the Chicago State game, which was super exciting, and I just think she's just a total beast out there.
So we'll stick with the prediction MVP, but who's your rest of the season? Who do you think the MVP is going to be in Big Ten play?
I don't know. I'm kind of tied between Maddie Saris and Paula Sarame just because, I don't know, people forget to give credit to the back row, but, I think she's done amazing, getting, 100-something digs right now, and, she's all over the place and has a really great serve as well, so I'm going to go probably with her, I guess.
Yeah, those are good picks. I might say Maddie Saris. I think she'll continue the development that she's had so far this season. She's been the freshman that's gotten the most amount of playing time, and she's up there at the top 2 in kills as well.
Yep.
So I think that she, as the season progresses, will become the end of the season MVP.
My end of the season MVP, I'll go with Haley Armstrong.
Okay.
I think she's great,
Yeah.
and she's such a good person too. So I'll take Haley. Josh, we'll stick with you next. Quick fire prediction. What will be IU's record at the end of conference play?
I think IU will get somewhere around 6 to 7 Big Ten wins. Like we've said, it's so good. The conference is awesome, but I think they can pick off a couple of those top-tier teams at home this year, and then definitely play well against some of the teams that are not up in the top 25 right now. It's obviously a deep conference, but IU has a solid team this year. Coach Aird says it's the best one that he's had since he's been here. So I think that they could definitely be a challenge to some of those top-tier teams and pick a couple off.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say maybe 7. Just because, the Big Ten, obviously, big volleyball conference, but I do think that they'll, probably win against Iowa, hopefully, and just Northwestern, and just games like that more so than Purdue. Because that's obviously a high competition. So I'm probably going to go with about 7 or 8.
Yeah, I would say closer to 6. I think the games that IU should win, I think they're going to come away with it. I think Steve Aird is going to coach them up enough where they will win the games that they should be winning. When you get into that top 25 tier teams, those are the games where, especially when you're traveling on the road to some of these places, it gets even more hard. So I would say about
Definitely.
6 is the right realm, but you could always pull off 1 or 2 road upsets. Brianna, next question. What kind of run will the Hoosiers make in Big Ten tournament?
I don't know. It's kind of a tough question because it's so kind of unpredictable with the team just because they're, I don't know, I feel like they could pull off, maybe a top win, but I don't know, maybe they could pull out, get a little farther. I don't really know.
Josh?
Yeah, that's really hard to project right now. No Big Ten games played so far, but they'll probably finish somewhere in the back half of the conference.
Yeah, I agree.
They could definitely get a win against in the first matchup. I think they'll get 1 win, play whatever top-tiered team well in their second game, but ultimately fall out there.
Yeah, I would say too, that second round, quarterfinals kind of mark where, you're gonna be in probably the lower half of the competition, so you'll have more of a play-in game first, and you could see Iowa or Northwestern.
Right.
And then when you move on, unfortunately, you're gonna have to run into Purdue, Iowa, Ohio State, Wisconsin, and those games are gonna be a lot harder. So, last question to predict. I probably know your answers, but I'll ask it anyway. Josh, will this team make the NCAA tournament?
I don't think so. They don't have the big-time wins in the non-conference that other teams are going to have. However, so many opportunities in the Big Ten. There's a lot of opportunities for great wins that'll make your resume look really good, but there's also a lot of games and opportunities to lose as well. So I think ultimately there's not going to be enough wins to make the resume good enough.
Yeah, I would say I probably wouldn't think they would. I mean, I would be awesome, but I just realistically probably not. And I agree with Josh. I feel like if they could pull off maybe like a win, it's just so like unpredictable right now, and I don't know. I just don't think so, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's so early in the season to be asking any of these tough questions. Oh, what's going to happen in the next 2 months? But, hey, I mean, we're just trying to have fun here and ask you the questions. Last thing before we go, there was a home game in Wilkinson Hall. There's been a couple. What has it been like to be back there with fans?
It's been awesome. I mean, especially just because it's been since, like, 2019 since we've been, like, to a football game, just with so many people. And the student section was awesome. I mean, I was surprised to see as many students there. And, like, the fans and the families, just a lot of people like showed out, and it was awesome.
Yeah, especially for the scrimmage before classes started. I was amazed at how many people were out at the scrimmage.
Yeah.
It was the first time that people could have seen the team since a long time ago.
Right.
And the crowd last weekend was pretty solid, and I think it'll keep getting better. And yeah,
especially with Big Ten coming up too.
Yeah, and Steve Airds said he's spent a lot of time trying to make the student section better, get more on par with some of the other Big Ten atmospheres, and yeah, he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah,
it looks
he's
good.
done a really great job.
Yeah, and you got some really tough student sections to be on par with. But, you know, seeing the pictures and seeing, you know, the games on BTN Plus, it's really fun to see all the students there in their, you know, hot dog costumes, banana costumes. So, Josh, Brianna, thank you so much for coming on the show today. That's going to do it for the show this week. Be sure to continue the discussion and follow us on Instagram at IUSTV Sports and on Twitter at IUSTV Sports for live tweets and updates from our beat reporters. We are always looking for ways to improve the show, so feel free to give any suggestions and ask any questions you might have via social media. With that, there's one thing left to do, so toss it up, find out if we'll catch it, and we'll see you next week. Mask fell off halfway through the monologue. Damn it.